Hello, all. My name is Joe Francis. I'm an occupational therapist. I work in San Antonio, Texas, primarily. I've been an occupational therapist for over 10 years. And during that time, I had lots of individuals request information about returning to driving or learning to drive. And those individuals range from senior citizens wanting to return to driving, all the way down to parents wondering if their teens could become new drivers and do that successfully. So in doing so, we went and decided to go to get some further education in occupational therapy and become what's called a certified driving rehabilitation specialist that works with individuals of all types to get them to a successful level of driving, whether it be returning to drive or becoming new drivers. We specialize in training individuals with special needs of all ages. We try to do this in a way that's the most idealistic for each individual, using techniques that we've developed over the years and techniques that come from formal education, and combine those two to have a kind of a hybrid type of educational experience that allows for the best outcomes for all involved. We primarily use a practice known as neuroplasticity, and that just basically means that you're learning something new until it becomes second nature. Whether that's someone learning to use a different leg to drive, or using their hands to drive, or someone with neurodivergence that's using a different technique to learn to drive. So in that case, the person that's changing the most is the instructor. The instructor is changing their techniques and applying it to the individual's basic needs to learn how to drive properly and to have a more proficient type of learning experience that makes them a much better driver for the long term. What we always talk about here at CIS is that we want our drivers to become proficient, not efficient. And the way we describe that is efficient drivers are like airplane pilots who fly a small single seat airplane like a Cessna. A proficient driver is someone we term as an astronaut, someone who can fly in our atmosphere and even outside of our atmosphere, doing so safely and repetitively. And that's what we want our jobs to be. We want our jobs to be proficient and safe in their local environment and outside of their local environment so they can expand on their community equity, which allows you to get a job in a place that may be further away than you wanted to be in the first place, but now you can go there because you can drive yourself independently. Or if you wanted to go to a school such as LSU instead of UL, then you could actually go to Baton Rouge and go to school and drive there safely and return home safely, as opposed to going to UL that may or may not have the program you're interested in. We also specialize in serving individuals with other injuries, traumatic injuries, neurological, age-related, visual discrepancies, and even psychological. So we have individuals that are on the spectrum, but we also have individuals with disabilities such as anxiety, which could be very crippling to someone who's trying to drive for the first time. We've had several individuals in the past that we've trained who have come to the States from other countries like Canada and have been very anxious about their driving. But we've also had individuals who were licensed in other states who have neurodivergence and have come to the States and cannot successfully transition here from driving in Europe. And so what we do with those individuals, we have our one-on-one personalized training sessions. They're all in the vehicle. And we do at some points use a simulator as well to allow a safer environment to learn these driving related skills. Among those other driving related skills are daily living tasks, such as medication management, such as sleep hygiene, such as interacting with a peace officer, also maintaining a proper school schedule. And no matter what that schedule may be, it may be doing chores at home and getting those done before driving, or it may be going to the store to get something that's needed to complete the chores at home. but either way, that's something that you will be able to do, and you better function properly in doing so. And then we also have different communication techniques that we use to help the individuals work better with society while on the road. So, for example, if there's a car accident, you need to know what information to change hands with the other person involved in the accident. You need to know who to call. Is it appropriate to call 911 because someone's seriously injured, or is it more appropriate to call a different number for information on what to do in the situation, because it may just be a fender bender and nobody's actually hurt. The other thing is we do is all the learning is step by step that we perform. We try to develop the skills slowly and steadily. And that way we can always ensure that the driving program gets the best outcome for each individual. Okay. At CIS, we like to think outside of the box. A lot of parents with kids on the spectrum or who are neurodivergent tend to have issues with deciding whether or not their children, the teens, can drive or not drive, and it's mostly based on fear. But that is something that we cannot do. What we can do is always do an evaluation to see where that individual stands at that period, at that point in time, to see if the driving if driving is a possibility, as opposed to just using our fear to make that decision. As we always say, it's always best to do an evaluation to see where things stand, and in that way we have a clearer picture. And that way we can make a plan to get that individual ready for driving, as opposed to going until they're 30 and then realizing, oh gosh, we have to get them licensed as soon as possible because we're getting older and now he or she is 30. And so that usually is a hard decision to make, and we understand that, but we know that the evaluation process makes that decision a lot easier, because it can help us, determine, what, maybe driving is not for this individual. We need to look at community mobility preferences to see how we can get this individual to and from work, to and from school, to and from the store, to and from the library, and to and from uh, hobbies like playing softball or baseball or volleyball or whatever that individual likes to do to pass time. But again, what we cannot do is keep that individual inside the box of fear and say, no, you cannot even drive, without even at least trying to do an evaluation to see what's possible. So our process is pretty simple. We use LRS, the Louisiana Rehabilitation Services, as a state contracted service that we provide the evaluations and the training. So the first thing you would want to do is see if your neurodivergent child can be approved through that service. In most cases, they may be, and that will save you lots of money on the back end. But it would also give the state another individual who's licensed to drive and can get to and from work and become a law-abiding citizen and a taxpayer. Once we get the services approved, we do the comprehensive evaluation where we come to your home and do the evaluation. It takes a few hours depending on the individual, and then we have a sit down, talk about the outcome, and make a plan going forward. If it's determined that the individual is fit to learn to drive, then we work on helping you obtain your learner's permit. And then once that's completed, then we begin the behind the wheel training and life skills training, followed by testing and licensure at your local Department of Public Safety or a driving school. And that's the process for first-time drivers. Now, at CIS, we have a system of driving. Again, it's very important to make sure that you're learning those life skills that go along with driving. It's not just about being behind the wheel. You have to know what the lights on the dashboard mean. You have to know who to call in an emergency. You have to know how to find that information for who to call in an emergency. Our parents see us as the kid on the bottom, and how my mom sees me. When even as a 10-year-old, you see yourself as the cool guy or the cool girl driving a sports car, you know, but you don't know if it's a possibility at the age of 10. You're hoping, but in most cases, we like to make sure we go back to the last screen where we said, think outside of the box. If we're outside of the box, then guess what? We're at least doing an evaluation and we know for sure. So those things involved in the driving system are sleep hygiene, being prepared, having a schedule, knowing what's going on, so you're not driving anxiously or you're not running behind. If you have medications, you're maintaining your medication management. So that means if you have to be at work tomorrow morning at 8, then you take your meds. If you take sleep meds, you take them at a proper time, get the proper amount of sleep, and make sure that you're already set for the next day, and that's in your preparedness. And so all those things we go over as well with the driving, because again, we see driving as a system and not just a simple act. It's multitasking. It's a lot of thought processing and decision making, executive thinking, executive thoughts, executive processing that go into it. So we want to make sure that all of the individuals that we train are aware of that. And we do this also with our senior drivers. It's not just the neurodivergent group. Everybody we train, we go over all that stuff. Even things as simple as pumping gas may seem simple, but if you don't know that the diesel pump and the gasoline pump are a different size, you might force that diesel pump into the gas tank and start putting diesel in the gasoline engine, which most of us know it's a really, really bad thing. But those gas pumps are different sizes. So if you pull the wrong one and try to put it in the gasoline tank, it's not going to fit. But you have to know that you shouldn't force it. That you should know that that's not the right nozzle. You need to choose the other one that's actually for gasoline. So what's next? That decision is up to you. Once you get licensed and you're a proficient driver, the next step is that we always recommend that our students drive continuously with another adult in the vehicle for at least another 6 months to a year, and then slowly wean off of that to where they're driving alone. And that's the what's next. That what next is you become a proficient driver in doing so, and then that should take you for the long haul. You should be able to drive on your own for the rest of your life after that. You should be able to do so safely. If you want to learn more, you can scan our QR code to find the nearest Louisiana Rehab Service office in your area and get started. If you prefer to do so, there is an out-of-pocket fee that you can pay out of pocket as well instead of going through LRS. It's a little bit cheaper because we try to give a discount for those individuals who are not qualified with LRS or whatever other payer source you may have. So we do try to assist in that manner. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for having us speaking today. We appreciate it, and we look forward to helping as many of you as possible achieve your goal of driving and becoming more independent. Thank you.